Hello students, in this fourth and the last video in decision analysis, we are going to look at the decision analysis with sample information. As mentioned in the previous video, the risk profile which comes out of the decision analysis, this one, is really not impressive because it still has 20% probability involved of loss making. Hence, we go ahead and try to improve this. Now, what is the theory behind it is that if you look at this, that right now we have a prior probability available. So if you just read from here, I will just read it so that you will understand. The decision makers have preliminary or prior probability assessments for the states of nature that are the best probability values available at that time. So as we use 80% for S1 high demand probability and 20% for low demand probability are our prior probabilities. However, to make the best possible decision, the decision maker may want to seek additional information about the states of nature. This information can be used to revise or update the prior probabilities so that the final decision is based on more accurate probabilities of the states of nature. Most often, additional information is obtained through experiments designed to provide sample information, and hence the name decision analysis with sample information. Sample information about the states of nature. Raw material sampling, product testing, and the market research studies are examples of such experiments or studies that may enable management to revise or update the state of nature probabilities. These revised probabilities are called as the posterior probabilities. So basically we already have prior probabilities 80%, 20%. Now we are going for marketing research. We will get sample information and then we will get posterior probabilities. So for this example, let us return to PDC problem and assume that management is considering a 6-month market study. A 6-month market study designed to learn more about potential market acceptance of the PDC condominium project. So this is a clear-cut example of market research study. Management anticipates that the market research study will provide one of the following two results. So market research may end up giving us a favorable report, or it can, that means a significant number of individuals contacted express interest in purchasing PDC condominium. Unfavorable report means not a favorable response from the individuals contacted, right? So now we are going to redo the influence diagram. So our previous influence diagram now will get modified. So first decision we are going to take is about research study, whether to go for a market research study or not. Why I am saying that decision? Because with any market research there will be a cost involved. If your the benefits coming out of the market research study is lower than the cost involved, obviously nobody will like to go for it. So that's why the organization need to take a decision whether to go for research study or not. Once you do that decision, the next decision in line is obviously about the complex size, that is D1, D2 or D3. This decision will also depend on the research study results, which is a chance event. Why? Because research study can result into favorable report or unfavorable report. So there are chances, favorable report or unfavorable report, and hence that is also what you call states of nature. But that result will depend on the demand in the market. If the demand is more, this obviously you may get a favorable report. Hence these two states of nature will have an influence on each other, or basically the actual demand will have influence on research study results, and the research study results will definitely help us to take a proper decision on complex size. And once you take a proper decision on complex size and the demand becomes the reality, then you will generate the profit. So first, in most of the questions you will always find that they will ask you to draw the influence diagram. So this is what you need to properly understand and draw. Look at the directions of the arrows. If you do a wrong direction, your entire logic is reverse. So understand the directions and use them properly. After this, we will be working on the decision tree. If you look at the decision tree, now it is a bit bigger decision tree. Okay, let me just show the decision tree in one go. Yeah, so if you look at this is your first decision about whether to go for market research or not. And see here, the one leg is market research study, other is no market research study. In fact, this second leg we have already finished all the calculations and our result is also there, because we have done that before. In the previous video you must have seen, without sample information is this part. So this part for us is already done, and if you recollect, our decision was to go for D3, right, with 14.2 as the expected value, right? So if you look at this earlier answers, right, let me just show you that 14.2 and D3 was our choice. So let me just tick mark here, because that is what we have done already, right? So we will go for D3 here, and it is 14.2 as my total expected value for this particular decision to go for without market study. Now let us return to the market study. After the market study, there can be two possibilities: either you are going to get a favorable report or you are going to get an unfavorable report. In both the cases, the organization has to make a decision about the size of the complex. So here also and here also you will have small, medium, large branches. And after this is what we have already done in the previous previous without probability. The same thing will happen, because at each of this branch you will have the state of nature strong and weak, state of nature strong and weak, state of nature strong and weak, and we already know these values of payoffs. So we will just capture all this information here, and this is our decision tree with market research or with sample information. Now what remains is to do the calculations, and for calculations we are going to require the probabilities. So the example clearly now gives you the probability. So if you look at this point, this is our entire probability information, right? This is our entire probability information. So what is the probability information? It's about, if the market research study is undertaken, the probability of getting a favorable report is 0.77, and obviously 1 minus 0.77 will be 0.23. So these two are the probabilities which we are going to use here for favorable report and for unfavorable report, right? 0.77 and 0.23. So you will write here 0.77, you will write 0.23. Okay, then if the market research is favorable, so let me just write here for your, this is your 0.77, and this is 0.23. Right. Now if the market research is favorable, that means here favorable report, we will require the strong and weak probabilities, because this will be the new probabilities now. So If the market research is favorable, you will get 0.94 and 0.06 for strong demand, 0.94 for weak demand, 0.06. So you will write here for all this. For strong you will write 0.94, for weak you will write 0.06, 0.94, 0.06, 0.94, 0.06, right? And if it is unfavorable, then strong demand will be 0.35, weak demand will be 0.65. So here you will write 0.35, 0.65, right? So for all you will write this. Let me just show this here. Here they have already captured that here. That is why I am not wasting time there, because this particular second diagram clearly shows you these values here, right? 0.94, 0.06 for all, and this for unfavorable 0.35 and 0.65, and for favorable overall 0.77 and 0.23, right? And we already know that if we are not taking the market research studies, then prior probabilities will be considered, which is 0.8 and 0.2, right? So this particular decision tree diagram clearly mentions all the information which is required for us to start our calculation, right? So this is what is our next goal will be, to do the calculation. Now clearly, suppose one of this is given, the other will be always 1 minus that. You can see clearly. So sometimes you will in any question or in the exam, you see get only one, the other one you can easily calculate, right? So now how to do the calculations? Obviously the entire calculation is based on the expected value, and we know how to calculate expected value. For EV6, for this expected value will be 8 into 0.94 plus 0.06 into 0.7. So it is coming to 7.94. So everywhere you will do this calculation, multiplication, addition, and when you do all this, you will get the answers here which are clearly now captured here, right? If you see here, these are the values. For EV6 7.94, 13.46 for EV7, for EV8 18.26. so do the calculations for this yourself, for this yourself. This we have already done, so no need, because we already have these answers here. So all this are here shown here. Just cross check whether you are getting the same answers yourself, right? Now obviously when we are taking a decision at this 5, 4 and 3, the maximum EV will be our choice. Out of this, the maximum EV is clearly 8.26, right? So obviously for us, this choice will be for favorable report. We will go for 18.26, means our choice will be D3. For this 9, 10 and 11, between 9, 10 and 11, 10 has the, between these three, 10 has the maximum. So we will go for this. We will go for medium, and whatever is the value, 8.15 will be my value, right? So here I will be writing 8.15. I hope I am correct. So right, so yeah, you can see all this here also. So here we will go for this, here we will go for this, and here already we have gone for this, right? So we have now captured the first set of calculations. Now this set of probabilities are now we are going to consider, but obviously we are going to just keep this. We are going to remove this, we are going to remove this, we are going to remove this, we are going to remove this. Here also we are going to remove this, we are going to remove this, because we have already taken the decision to go for D3, for D2 in this case, and for D3 in this case. So the next diagram will be looking like this, right? So here you see here only D3, D2 and D3 is maintained, and now again we will have to find out EV2, right? EV2, which will be definitely again same thing, this into this, probability into value plus probability into value. So for EV2 we are getting 15.93 here. So here it will be 15.93, and the bottom we have already done the calculation, which is 14.2, right? So when we come for the decision here, obviously when we are going for market research study, we get a higher EV than no market research study. So obviously our choice, the first decision will be to go for market research study 15.93. So, and not for this. So the overall answer finally will be going for market research study with EV 15.93. Now this is our entire decisions will be shown like this. See, this is our final decisions. These are our final decisions. Go for market research study. Then if you get a favorable report, you will go for D3, and then you can either get 20 or -9, right? If you find unfavorable report, go for D2, not D3, go for D2 here, and in that case you will get 14 or 5, and these are the probabilities, right? So what is the probability of getting 20? You need to multiply. For 20 to be a reality, for this you have to get this one to happen and this one to happen. So when two events have to happen one after another, you multiply their probabilities. So 0.77 into 0.94 will be the 0.72 will be the probability for 20. For -9, 0.77 into 0.06, so you will get 0.05. For 14 it will be 0.23 into 0.35 and 0.08, and here for 5 it will be 0.23 into 0.65, which is. Now this particular information is our risk profile. So we will generate our risk profile as we have generated earlier, and clearly you will see a great improvement over the first risk profile because of the sample information. Because of this sample information, the risk profile is clearly changed. Now if you look at this, what is the probability of getting a loss is just 5%, right? It has reduced to 5%, and 95% is clearly you are going to make profit, out of which 72% chance is that you will make 20 million, 14 million is the 8% chance, and 15% chance is that you will make 5 million. So with this, the top management clearly can take a good decision, because normally the confidence limit should be 95. You remember, everywhere we keep on talking about confidence limit of 95% in statistics also, right? So clearly here 5% there is a chance of loss, but 95% you will get profitability, but the other chances, the actual values will be have different probabilities. So clearly this particular risk profile can help the management to take a very good decision, and they will clearly decide. First they will decide to go for market research study, and depending on the result of the market research study, they will either go for D3 or go for D2. So this is your answer for risk profile. Now there are certain other calculations which we are going to do. EVPI, expected value for sample information, as we have calculated earlier, it will be the difference between 15.93 minus 14.2. So 1.73 is going to be the expected value of sample information, and when we divide it by EVPI, which we calculated in the previous video, you will get the efficiency of the sample information. So in this case 1.73 divided by 3.2 is 54.1, right? So this is what we have already done the branch probabilities calculation. So this is what is going to be the end of the solution. For all whatever required, we will be able to clearly answer all the questions based on the working what we have done so far. So I hope decision analysis, obviously in any exam usually you will expect a problem which talks about sample information. So this final video is very important, but before you do this, you need to watch the previous three videos. Only then you will be able to understand this particular video. Okay, thank you.